Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I don't want to do a lesson or a tutorial. Instead, I want to talk to you guys about mindset, specifically about this guy right here and about practicing guitar. Because I've been teaching now for what feels like 25 years. The last, I would say 11 years, I've been teaching full-time students in and out, all day throughout the weeks and months. And basically, I've come to realize that we all use excuses for why we don't practice. And that's what I want to talk about today, is getting our mindset right. Because I think that what happens is students get confused about why they're playing guitar. And essentially, what I want to do today is take a look at some of the myths we have about practicing guitar and then just figure out a way to look at this in a positive light and try to reignite some spark in what we're doing. And trust me, I've heard them all. I've heard the work, I've my boss, I've got, um, class, I've got my car broke down. There's a million different excuses that come up, and they happen to me too. Things in life just happen, right? But I'm going to give you guys a little tip on what actually made a light bulb go off in my head. And I didn't learn this until later on in life, believe it or not. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is students that say they need to find time. This is a complete myth, okay? This whole finding time. We all share the same exact amount of time. And here's the truth about time. Nothing gives you time. There is no time to be found, right? The only way that you can get time back is by taking it, okay? Everything in life takes your time. Your job, school, your phone. The phone is the worst thing right now. Social media is like, and games and things like that, they're the worst time taker right now, because what happens is you get lost in this void of scrolling, and then by the time you realize what's going on, like 2 hours have passed. And that, honestly, and like, if I'm being 100% honest, I was never worried about other music schools or anything like that when I started my teaching business. The biggest concern for me was that my students would get addicted to their phones and social media, because that is the biggest stealer of time and what prevents people from getting good on guitar. And anyway, you're probably watching this video on a device right now, but this is going to hopefully motivate you to pick up your guitar. So anyway, number one is going to be, you don't find time, you make time. So you have to literally just put into your schedule, this is my time to practice. It doesn't need to be a super long, and hours a day. It all depends on the goals you want with your playing, right? So if you want to become the best guitar player in the world or something like that, you need to put hours and hours and hours in practice, and you're basically going to eat and sleep guitar. But if you just want to become a decent player, strum some songs, play for friends and family, play at your church, things like that, you really don't need to put in hours and hours and hours every day, but you need to be consistent with your practice time, because consistency compounds into becoming a much better player over time. Okay, so anyway, this is my little tip for you guys. I tell students when they come in, this instrument, believe it or not, you need to look at this as if it is a living, breathing animal or a baby. So when I had my first daughter, well, I only have one daughter, but when I had my first child, Cadence, I realized I have this person I need to take care of. And as much stuff that pops up in my life every day, whether it's business, whether it's, going out or spending time with family or hanging out with friends, or, the car breaks down or something, no matter what happens in my life, I have to take care of this child. And when I started realizing that, I realized, guitar is like that in the beginning. When you're trying to learn guitar, you need to treat this as if it's your child, and you need to show some love every single day. Because if you come home and you don't take care of your pets, you don't feed them, or you come home, you don't take care of your children, you don't feed them, you don't give them the time they need, then bad things happen. Dare I say, they die, right? Like, if you just leave an animal alone and don't feed it, that animal is going to die. So you need to take care of it and watch after it. That is what happens with guitar players when they start picking up this instrument. They don't take after the guitar. They don't pick it up. They don't feed it. Your guitar, you playing chords and plucking it, that's feeding it. That's giving it the love that it needs. If you don't do that, then this desire dies, and it gets stuck in a corner, or it gets put in your closet, and it just collects dust for years and years and years. So anyway, we want to change that. Start thinking about this as if it is your child. You come home, I can't let Jimmy, you know, if you got to name your guitar, you always hear guitar players talking about this is my guitar, Sally, or whatever. It's like, if you need to name it, do it. When you come home, pick it up, spend some time. It could be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? Just spend some time with the instrument. You will get better. Here's the truth about practicing too. If you become consistent with practicing 30 minutes a day, we'll just say for an example, that is better, you doing 30 minutes a day over the span of a week, than you trying to sit there and cram in like a 2 or 3 hour practice session. So sometimes I have students, they'll be like, you know, I work all week, I really have some time on Saturday and Sunday, so I'll practice a couple hours on Saturday and Sunday. First of all, that almost never happens. But besides that, even if it did happen, doing like 2 hours on Saturday and Sunday isn't as good as doing 4 days of 30 minutes throughout the week. So anyway, think about that. It's more about consistency, because from one day to the next, you get better at this instrument. So anyway, you want to try to create a consistent practice routine. Another thing I'll mention is, if you don't know what to practice, if you're a beginner, you should be practicing your chords, right? Memorizing the basic open chords, strumming patterns, simple songs. You can search online for tons of simple songs, and you're going to find all kinds of 3 and 4 chord songs that you can practice. Things like that. You start with simple picking songs, and you just get used to reading tabs and stuff like that, and you will get better at the instrument. And then I also can't express how important it is to find yourself a guitar teacher. Guitar teachers can change your life. When you are working on the right material and somebody is literally telling you what you need to practice, and they're watching you, and they're able to give you this feedback, there's nothing that can compensate that kind of interaction. Now, the other thing I'll mention is, side note, I am creating a beginner course, and if you want to get notified about that, please sign up to the link below, and I will send you guys out. There's going to be a discount when I first offer this course, and if you guys sign up now, you will be on the list, and you'll be able to get that course when it starts. And it's going to be a great course to get you guys through the fundamentals, learning a bunch of songs, all that kind of stuff. Check it out. Another point I want to talk about is just the level of progress you make and the amount of time it takes. You have to remember something. A lot of songs that you learn when you start practicing guitar were written by musicians that have been playing for maybe 5, 10, 15 years before they ever wrote a song. So if you're just starting out and you're like in your first year or something, you can't play a song perfect, you have to understand that when you're trying to learn some of these songs, there are things that have been written by guitar players that have built technique over years. So you have to be patient with yourself. 6 months to a year is really not a lot of time on guitar. You should expect to spend close to about 2 years really practicing on this guitar before you're going to actually like start feeling a real level of confidence and control over the guitar. It definitely takes time, and you got to be patient with yourself. I have seen too many people, students of mine, I mean, over the years, I've seen so many where they're like this close to a breakthrough, and then they quit, or they give up, or they stop. And I have lived long enough now to know, like, I meet students, they could be at any point in life. And when they stop classes with me, I always try to keep in touch and follow up with them. And I can't tell you how many times I've called these people and I've spoken to them, and they tell me they haven't picked up their guitar since their last class. So it is really important for you to be connected in some way with somebody that inspires you. This could be another guitar player. It doesn't have to be a teacher, but you need to be connected with other musicians that really inspire you and they push you to play. Look for meetup groups, things like that. All that kind of stuff can really help you. This channel that I'm building is really built off the hope that it inspires you guys that are watching to pick up your guitar every day and have little routines you can practice and exercises and things like that. And that's why I want to really encourage you guys to stick with this. So listen, I'm not here to shame you guys. I'm guilty as much as everyone else is, but what I am here to do is to push you, try to give you a new viewpoint on practicing guitar, and I want to inspire you guys to pick it up, because there's nothing better than when you can pick up your guitar and start strumming some chords, and, yeah, and, have somebody sing with you. And that's what I want to do. 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 And that's what I want That's like one of the greatest things, and it's the most fun to do, and you'll get there one day, but you just got to push yourself and stay consistent with it. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up there. I just want to remind you, like, give your guitar the time it deserves. Give yourself the time you deserve, because it takes everybody different amounts of time to learn this instrument. But I hope this lesson just gives you a little bit of inspiration. If it did, again, please like and subscribe below. Also, check out my guitar flashcards for you guys that are trying to memorize music theory. I gotta tell you guys, these flashcards are great. They're not going to teach you material. If you want to learn the material, you got to check out my course on tunedinguitarcourses.com. There's a fretboard theory course there, but the flashcards are for studying. So if you're already getting into music theory and you want to study music theory, this gives you all the formulas and things like that that you have to study, and you can take that with you without your guitar. So it's a way you can still learn. For you intermediate players that want to study the theory and you don't have your guitar with you, you can do that stuff while you're at work, things like that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helps you out and inspires you. God bless you.